wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. All right, now sports. Now, my Giants are out. Charlamagne, how's your Cowboys?
What do you mean? Stop asking stupid-ass questions.
I just want to hear you say it.
Why? That makes no sense. Don't come into 2025 with the same contradictions and hypocrisy, okay?
Well, you said they were going to make it to the Super Bowl. I was just checking in.
I say that every year. You see, on your sleeve right now it says 1996. I've been saying that since that same time right there.
Jesus
Our
Christ.
last Super Bowl was 1995.
Well,
You want to be so delusional.
Well, I am over my Cowboys.
Well, this Saturday, the Chargers take on the Texans at 4:30. Steelers take on the Ravens at 8. The Broncos take on the Buffalo Bills. Packers take on the Eagles. Commanders take on the Buccaneers. And on Monday, the Vikings take on the Rams. Some quick sports. And also, salute to Deshaun Jackson. He will become Delaware State's head football coach. So,
Delaware State had a football team?
yes, they do.
I did not know that, man.
And he will be the head coach.
Oh, so they've been at a team. They're not just creating a team for Deshaun Jackson to coach.
They could be. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know what? I'm lying because the South Carolina State University Bulldogs beat them, but like 80-0 early this year. That's when I first heard of them.
Damn.
Yes.
All right.
So
Well,
salute to Del State.
good morning,
Congrats
Morgan.
to Deshaun Jackson.
Salute to Deshaun Jackson.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Congrats to Deshaun Jackson. We love to see the HBCU love. And shout out to the Ravens flock. Good morning, Jess, Envy, and Charlamagne. Glad to hear you guys had a good break. You know, a lot has happened since I spoke to you guys last year, including the death of former President Jimmy Carter, a New Year's terrorist attack on New Orleans, a Cybertruck exploded outside of a Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, and President Biden issued pardons and medals of freedom, not to mention your 119th Congress has convened and peacefully, for the most part, certified the 2024 election results of President-elect Donald Trump in a joint session. Here's Vice President Kamala Harris making the announcement. Do we have that audio?
Today, I did what I have done my entire career, which is take seriously the oath that I have taken many times. America's democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
Harris said she upheld her constitutional duty to ensure the peaceful transfer of power, calling it a sacred obligation. The electoral count reform, when it comes to your 119th Congress that convened last Friday on January 3rd, the House of Representative Republicans hold a narrow majority of 219 seats to the Democrats' 215, while the Senate comprises of 15 Republicans and 47 Democrats. Now, a record 62 members of that congressional of the Congress is black. It's the first time 2 black women are simultaneously serving in the Senate. Shout out Angela Also Brooks from my state, whoop, whoop, Maryland, and Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware. And speaking of Delaware, there's a lot of news coming out of Delaware. Sarah McBride, she is the first openly transgender person to serve in the U.S. Congress and was elected to represent Delaware's at-large congressional district. And Emily Randall out of Washington State is the first openly LGBTQ plus Latina to serve in the U.S. House of Representatives. And Julie Johnson out of Texas is the first openly LGBTQ plus member representing a southern state in the U.S. House of Representatives. So things are underway, and your Congress is officially off to work in preparation for, President-elect Trump's second term. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson says that Congress will hit the ground running. He told Fox News Sunday Morning Futures that the Republican lawmakers are working on a large reconciliation package that would address all of President-elect's priorities early on in his term. He wants to have one huge bill that he wants to sign. Let's hear from Mike Johnson.
I think at the end of the day, President Trump is going to prefer, as he likes to say, one big, beautiful bill. And there's a lot of merit to that because we can put it all together, one big up or down vote, which can save the country. We're 15 days out from the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump for his second term, and we want to make sure that we're jump-starting the agenda now over the next 2 weeks so that he's prepared and ready on day one. And so we'll be addressing border. We've got a number of bills just over the next 2 weeks that we're going to address the low-hanging fruit, so to speak.
Yeah, so there is some pushback on that. A lot of GOP members don't want to rope in energy bills with border pills and tax policies, but, we'll see what happens over the next few weeks as we approach inauguration, which is set to happen on January 20th, which is also the same day as MLK Day.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot going on, but it is incredible to me that Democrats are playing so nice after all the talk of Trump being the end of democracy Trump being a fascist. It's like they're not keeping the same energy at all. And you can't call a man a fascist and a dictator, but when he wins, throw all that rhetoric out the window. Unless, of course, it was just politics and you never believed it. Meanwhile, Republicans keep that same energy. Did you see the husband of Senator Deborah Fisher not even shake the VP's hand yesterday?
Which is crazy.
Because Republicans draw clear lines in the sand. They signal to their base every time that they don't like Democrats. Democrats are terrible for the country and not worthy of any respect, nonetheless your vote. They preparing for
your wife. How about not respecting your wife on the world stage? But I won't get too much into
But they
that.
thinking about the future, though. They thinking about the midterms. They don't care about that. They thinking about the midterms. Like, no, this is the enemy. Please remember this in a couple of years when the midterms come.
All right. Well, that is front page news. We'll see you next hour, Morgan.
All right, yes, we will talk more in the next hour about the mourning period that we are in regarding President Jimmy Carter.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports. All right, now we're at the wild card matchups this weekend. The Cowboys are out, Giants are out, Jets are out. But let's get into some of the teams playing this weekend. The Chargers take on the Texans. The Steelers take on the Ravens. Broncos take on the Bills. Packers take on the Eagles. Commanders take on the Buccaneers. And the Vikings take on the Rams. And we also got to congratulate Deshaun Jackson. He's reportedly going to become Delaware State's head football coach, HBCU. So,
you know what's so crazy? According to Lauren LaRosa, she graduated from Delaware State University, which we knew. They've always had a football team.
yeah.
I didn't know. The first time I heard about their football team was when South Carolina State busted their ass earlier this year. It was like 90-0 or something like that. And then now Deshaun Jackson, the coach. I thought they created the team for Deshaun Jackson. I didn't know.
I just don't think the team was good. I just don't think they were really good.
Really? Mm-mm. I knew it was flag. Wasn't it flag football? Did it turn into a regular football team?
Wow, y'all
don't
really,
know. I just
y'all
don't-
really
I just-
playing in these people's feet.
I just don't think it was really
Do
good.
they give scholarships?
Flag
To play on the team?
Yeah.
For flag
I don't think so.
football.
Oh, I don't know.
For flag football. Y'all are crazy.
Salute to Delaware State
Good morning,
University.
Morgan.
Wow.
Good morning. Yes, Del State has always had a football team, at least since I was in college. So, no, I'm not going to get too much into that. But good morning, Envy, Charlamagne, and Jess. Shout out Deshaun Jackson on that move that we love to see at HBCU Love. America is in mourning, you guys, paying tribute to its 39th presidents. Crowds have been filing past former President Jimmy Carter's flag-draped casket at the Carter Center in Atlanta, and his body is being transported today here to Washington, D.C., where he will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda until a state funeral on Thursday morning at the Washington National Cathedral. Now, later that day, Mr. Carter's body will be returned to his hometown for a private service and burial on the grounds of his family home in Plains, Georgia. On Saturday, President Carter's grandson spoke at one of many celebrations of his life for the late humanitarian, and here's what he had to say. Jason Carter.
While we mourn my grandfather's passing, I know in my heart, and you all do, that his legacy will live on because of your spirit and your knowledge and the work and the track record that you do every day. On behalf of my family, to the people in this room, and to your colleagues and our colleagues across the world that work with the Carter Center, thank you for what you have done for him, for what you've done for my grandmother, and for what you continue to do for the world.
Yeah, so salute to President Carter and his legacy. On another note, it is federal law that America-
long life, too. Live to be 100 years old. Congratulations. I appreciate anybody who gets to live a long life because I'm going to be here till 101. So.
Why would you? Never mind.
On another note, it is
101.
federal law that American flags fly at half-mast for 30 days following the death of a former president or U.S. sitting president, 15 days for VPs. So this presidential mourning period will coincide with President-elect Trump's inauguration. Now, Trump has indicated that he will attend Carter's funeral on Thursday, despite taking issue with the fact that the flags will be flown at half-mast during his inauguration. The Democrats, a lot of people are joking that this is Carter's last humanitarian initiative, but, I won't get too much into that. Trump wrote on Truth Social that the Democrats are all giddy about our magnificent American flag potentially being flown at half-mast during my inauguration. They think it's so great and are so happy about it because, in actuality, they don't love our country. They only think about themselves. Look at what they've done to our once great America over the past 4 years. It's a total mess. He went on to say, in any event, because of the death of President Jimmy Carter, the flag may be flown for the first time ever during an inauguration of a future president be at half-mast. Nobody wants to see this, and no no American can be happy about it. Let's see how it plays out. Make America great again. Now, just quick fact check. While Trump did indicate in that Truth Social post that it was the first time U.S. flags would be flown in that capacity, that is not the truth, but it was flown at half-staff during Richard Nixon's 1973 inauguration. Yeah, so what do you guys think about that? Any thoughts on there?
I can't even believe Trump is tripping because, yes, the flags will be flown at half-mast for Jimmy Carter. Yes, he's getting sworn in on Inauguration Day, which is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And guess what? Donald Trump is still going to be the #1 trending topic. Nobody's going to be talking about Jimmy Carter. Nobody's going to be talking about Martin Luther King Jr. He's going to suck all the air out of the headlines. We know this. The media not even going to focus on Jimmy Carter and Martin Luther King Jr. Day like they will about Trump and who's at the inauguration. So I can't even believe he's tripping off it, to be honest with you.
Talking about tripping and talking about sucking the air out of the room. This guy did that, in fact, on New Year's Day. So switching gears.
Pause, Morgan. Lord
Right.
have mercy. Dang. God.
Dang, y'all.
Why are you
Okay,
telling us
excuse
about what
me.
happened? Why are you telling us about your New Year's Day, Morgan?
No. Look, I'm on my toes. And then for the last 2 weeks, I was relaxing.
New Year's.
I
All
got
right.
my toes messing around with you guys. No, but
Why?
seriously, switching gears, President Biden. Switching gears. President Biden was in New Orleans on Monday, meeting with the families and the family members of the victims of the Bourbon Street attack, calling it a horrific act of terrorism, adding it defines strength and resilience. Now, this is what I was talking about. He's this terrorist of sorts. He sucked the air out of our New Year's Day. I mean, when we woke up, this is what we woke up to. So President Biden, he spoke at the St. Louis Cathedral in the French Quarter with him and First Lady Jill Biden, placing a candle in the middle of the semicircle of candles for each of the 14 victims that lost their lives, and they read their names aloud. Now, the Bidens, of course, again, met with the families, survivors, local law enforcement prior to the service. And again, that attack saw an ISIS sympathizer plow a crowd of 14 down, killing 14 and injuring dozens more. Let's hear from President Biden really quickly, his comments in regards to that attack, horrible attack in New Orleans.
My wife Jill and I are here to stand with you, to grieve with you, to pray with you, to let you know you are not alone.
Damn. So it was called a terrorist attack because he was an ISIS sympathizer.
Yes, that's why they are calling it a terrorist attack. In fact, the FBI is providing an update. Deputy Assistant Director of the agency's Counterterrorism Division, Christopher Raya, said while the U.S. Army veteran Shasmood Din Jabbar likely acted alone, they're still trying to determine if he communicated with anyone outside of the U.S. And Special Agent in Charge Lionel Murthel of the FBI's New Orleans field office said while Jabbar likely acted alone, the investigation, of course, is still ongoing. We want to hear more from those authorities on the NOLA attack. Let's hear more from them.
We have not seen any indications of an accomplice in the United States, but we are still looking into potential associates in the U.S. and outside of our borders. The case is still very early on.
Our agents are getting answers as to where he went, who he met with, and how those trips may or may not tie into his actions here in our city in New Orleans.
So, of course, Jabbar reportedly traveled to New Orleans in months before the attack. He took video along Bourbon Street using meta glasses while riding a bike. And in the hours before the attack, also placed multiple improvised explosives around the city and set a fire inside a home that he was renting nearby. Now, luckily, those explosives did not go off and authorities were able to locate them. Just tragic to wake up on New Year's Day and hear that this has happened while, people were outside partying on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, very sad, very horrible. Also, they were saying that people were very upset because they opened Bourbon Street the next day, and they were saying that they should have gave people a chance to grieve. But a lot of people that live out there was like, this is how we eat, this is how we feed our family. Like, we live off of tourism. So if we close down Bourbon Street, they wouldn't be able to support their family. So I seen people talking about that when Master P and the mayor actually reopened Bourbon Street.
Yeah, definitely sending New Orleans healing energy. Salute to everybody who listens to us on Q93 in New Orleans. And I mean, what happened on Bourbon Street is just a reminder about life, right? Like, yes, all of those people got killed tragically, but man, life goes on immediately. That's right. Like that's just the way things are in this world. Like, life literally keeps going immediately.
Yeah.
A lot of elected officials in New Orleans were pretty much talking. I mean, of course, they're talking about the attack, but they're also reiterating to people and, that it is going to be safe for the upcoming Super Bowl, which is, pretty much a month away, too. There's a lot of events that are set to happen and take place coming up in New Orleans. So,
how do they guarantee that?
I can't.
And that's what I mean. I say it all the time on Breakfast Club, but it's just like, every day of our lives we wake up and all we're trying to do is avoid crazy.
Yeah.
Like you might wake up with the best intentions and you saying your prayers, reading your daily affirmations, you spreading love to everybody, but one idiot having a bad day can ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll put up barricades and all that stuff for people that's driving, but then somebody will have bombs strapped to them. I see them even now with the trains. We were talking about the trains earlier. Now they're going to start having railings where you can't push anybody onto the train anymore on the tracks because they're going to start putting railings up.
They should have been doing that.
But, like you said, it's very sad.
If I was them, I would just say, look, we're going to do our best to attempt to keep people safe because you just really never know.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, last story, I guess, if we could, it's just, I'm like, it's so sad that this is the first thing that we're talking about, first of the year, you would think it would be more positive, but, here we are, 2025. But yeah, let me go ahead and get into this last story. Las Vegas police are also releasing more information about the Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside of a Trump International hotel. Sheriff Kevin McMahill says they will be releasing writings by the suspect, Matthew Livisberger, regarding his motive, and FBI Special Agent Spencer Evans spoke more about the Livisberger's mental condition. Let's hear from those authorities on the Vegas incident.
He actually calls it a stunt in one of these documents that we're going to release to you, that he was trying to get the attention of the American people because he was upset about a number of different things.
It ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran who is struggling with PTSD and other issues. Investigative steps have discovered, and information from the Army indicates, that he likely suffered from PTSD, and we are also aware that there were potential other family issues or personal grievances in his own life that may have been contributing factors.
Yeah, so authorities used DNA to confirm who the suspect was because he was burnt beyond recognition. And the FBI says he had no animosity towards Donald Trump and likely suffered, of course, from PTSD. The explosives in the car were motor-style fireworks along with camping fuel. He died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound before the blast, which injured seven people left 7 people with minor injuries. And police again reiterated there is no definitive link between the incident in New Orleans and the attack in Vegas, despite it happening on the same day. So here we are. Welcome to 2025, guys.
Yeah, why couldn't we get that veteran the help he needed? Like I'm sure he didn't just start exhibiting signs of PTSD. Why do we ignore what people are going through until it's too late? I don't understand. I'm going back to Anguilla, man. Every story you just said is why we are the United States of anxiety. Why do we have to deal with these things? Why? When we have the solutions, we got all these problems, but we have the solutions right here in this country, but we just choose not to, solve them or put the resources towards them for whatever reason. I don't get it. Meanwhile, we charging $9 for congestion pricing, here in New York City. We giving out more money for them not to use for people like, this veteran. And I know I'm just New York and that's Vegas, but you know what I'm saying, what I'm attempting to say here.
Well, thank you,
we
Morgan.
got your sentiment. We got your sentiment. Yes, thank you. That's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow us at the Black Information Network, at Black Information Network, or download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.